They say every high school has a food chain, but nobody warns you what happens when a supposed nobody gets tired of being on a menu, and honestly, I never expected to find myself at the sharp end of that lesson, especially not in a hallway that smelled like cheap disinfectant and bad cafeteria pizza. My name's Marley Davidson, and I guess if you'd seen me on my first day at Jefferson High, you'd have pegged me for background noise. The quiet girl, thrift store clothes, hair like I cut it myself with garden shears, glasses that just wouldn't quit sliding down my nose, barely 5 feet if I stretched. But you know how sometimes the folks everyone overlooks are the ones you ought to be most careful with? Yeah, turns out that was me. I came to Jefferson after my grandma's job forced us to move across 3 states, leaving everything I'd ever known behind. I gotten good at flying under the radar, dodging eye contact, making myself small. It was a skill that kept me breathing easy in crowded hallways full of strangers who didn't care about me, and, frankly, I didn't care about them. That lasted right up until Tyler Morrison, Jefferson's golden boy quarterback, decided I made a great new target. He was one of those tall, cocky guys with perfect hair and the kind of swagger that comes from knowing nobody ever says no to you, especially not when you've got the school's royalty trailing after you. Ashley Hendress, a cheerleader with icy blonde hair, and Brittany Walsh, a trust fund mean girl, always in his wake, like sharks around a whale carcass. First day, Tyler knocked into me so hard my books hit the floor and my fingers nearly got crushed under his sneakers. "Watch where you're going, freak," he snarled, his voice all teeth and vinegar. Ashley giggled like it was the funniest thing she'd heard all week, and Brittany jumped right in, mocking my glasses like she'd never seen a pair before. The crowd ate it up, and I did what I'd always done, kept my mouth shut, gathered my things, and escaped as quick as I could, pretending not to hear Tyler's "Welcome to Jefferson High, loser. Hope you brought thick skin." The thing is, nobody in that hallway knew about the early mornings I'd spent with my Uncle Marcus, a former Special Forces guy, with more scars than stories, training in his garage since I was 8. He taught me how to protect myself, how to be dangerous without showing it, but he also made me promise, never use what you know unless there's no other way out. Not for pride, not for anger, for survival, and nothing else. So, I kept my head down as the days went by, letting Tyler and his crew believe they owned me, turning the other cheek when they accidentally spilled drinks on me at lunch or tripped me in the halls. They even invented rumors I was poor white trash, a hermit, whatever worked for them. I lived on autopilot, library lunches, early mornings, out the door before the chaos could find me. Still, you can only avoid the storm for so long. It was a Thursday when things finally tipped. I was halfway to the exit when Tyler's voice boomed behind me. I tried to keep walking, big mistake. Suddenly I was spun around, pinned between lockers, and those 3 grinning faces, no teachers in sight. Tyler's voice dripped fake friendliness. "Didn't your trashy family teach you any manners?" Ashley sneered about my pathetic life and hand-me-down clothes. Brittany blocked my path, eyes bright with anticipation. I remember thinking, if I keep my cool, they'll get bored. But then Tyler reached for my dress, my mom's dress, the one thing I had left of her since she died when I was 7, and yanked. The rips sounded like thunder. My shoulder bare, shame burning my cheeks, and Brittany already recording it all. You know those moments when something inside you just snaps, like a dam breaking? I went from frozen to fire in a heartbeat. 8 years of drills and muscle memory took over. My palm drove straight into Tyler's chest. The sound he made was almost funny if I hadn't been so angry. Ashley got an elbow to the jaw before she could even scream. Brittany tried to bolt, but I spun her quick jab behind the ear, and she dropped like a stone. Tyler was still gasping for air, so I finished the job with a knee to the nose. The crunch echoed off the lockers. Ashley shrieked, so I dropped her with a punch to the gut and said, "Real calm. That's for calling my family trashy." Then I dragged Tyler up by his collar, and this is for touching my mother's dress, and the uppercut sent him into the lockers so hard, doors popped open like a cartoon. 30 seconds, give or take. I was breathing hard, ruined dress and all, but for the first time in forever, I felt peace, like I'd finally set something right. Ashley was bawling, Brittany could barely squeak, Tyler out cold and bleeding. I told them, as quiet and sharp as a knife, "Leave me alone. All of you. Don't even think about bullying anyone else. If I hear about it, we'll have another talk, you understand? They nodded, terrified. I made Ashley delete the video, or Tyler's nose won't be your biggest problem. As I walked away, backpack slung over my torn dress, I heard Ashley scrambling, Brittany whimpering, and I couldn't help but smile, just a little. News travels fast in high school. By the next morning, everyone knew. I was everything from mafia heiress to a black belt ninja, depending on who you asked. Teachers suddenly remember my name. Even the janitor winked at me. Best of all, Tyler, Ashley, and Brittany gave me a wide berth. Tyler came back with 2 black eyes, a crooked nose, and not a single wisecrack. The bullying? Gone. It was like someone had flipped a switch. A month later, a quiet sophomore named David Chun thanked me. He'd been a victim, too, but Tyler hadn't messed with him since. You stopped him in 30 seconds, David whispered, like I was some kind of legend. I told him the truth. I didn't do it for anybody else. Tyler just pushed me too far. But hearing it made me realize sometimes you have to fight for your place, and sometimes standing up for yourself helps everyone around you. Grandma didn't care about the dress being ruined. She said, "Your mother would be proud, not of the violence, but of you refusing to be pushed around." I never forgot that. Of course, you know how bullies or old habits die hard. 2 months after, I caught Tyler trying to intimidate a freshman named Josh, cornered and shaking with his books on the floor. I walked over, slow and loud. Tyler turned pale, touching his still crooked nose. "Problem here?" I asked, keeping my eyes locked on his. He shook his head, muttered "no problem," and bolted. Josh stared at me, starstruck. Sometimes, I told him, the only way to stop a bully is to show you're not scared to fight back, but pick your battles, and never throw the first punch unless you mean it. Walking away, I realized how much I'd changed. The girl who used to shrink away was gone, replaced by someone who knew her own strength. Tyler had torn my mother's dress, but he'd also torn down every wall I'd built to hide behind. Sometimes, the only way to earn respect is to demand it, even if it means getting a little messy. The real world isn't fair, but you don't have to be a victim. So, what would you have done if you were in my shoes? Let slide or fight back. I want to hear your story, your thoughts on when standing up for yourself crosses a line, and what real justice in a place like Jefferson High should look like. Drop your opinion below. Let's get real about bullies, boundaries, and how we change the game together.